Long-term wealth in the United States rarely collapses from dramatic mistakes. It erodes quietly through everyday money decisions that appear reasonable, socially accepted, and professionally normal. These decisions often feel responsible in the moment, yet over decades they weaken cash flow stability, reduce capital flexibility, and quietly cap lifetime financial outcomes. Understanding these decisions requires looking beyond surface advice and examining how American households actually interact with income systems, debt structures, tax rules, and spending environments. One of the earliest wealth-destroying decisions happens when income growth becomes disconnected from skill depth. Many professionals rely on automatic annual raises or lateral job moves while neglecting skills that increase pricing power. In the United States labor market, income acceleration is driven by scarcity, specialization, and operational leverage. When income growth depends only on tenure, long-term purchasing power falls behind asset prices and essential costs. Another silent issue appears when lifestyle expands at the same speed as income. Larger housing payments, vehicle upgrades, and subscription stacking often rise quietly with pay increases. The danger is not spending itself, but locking fixed monthly obligations to peak income years. This reduces flexibility during economic transitions, job changes, or family needs, forcing asset liquidation at poor moments. A third decision involves using debt convenience as a budgeting substitute. Credit cards, buy now, pay later plans, and extended auto terms are marketed as cash flow tools. Over time, they fragment financial awareness. When spending is separated from immediate consequence, households lose clarity on true monthly burn rates. This weakens decision quality even when income appears sufficient. Many households also underestimate the cost of poor liquidity planning. Money placed into accounts or assets that cannot be accessed without penalties limits response options. Emergencies then trigger high-cost borrowing or forced sales. Liquidity does not mean idle cash, but structured access to capital without time pressure. Another overlooked decision is ignoring tax structure until filing season. In the United States, taxes represent one of the largest controllable expenses. Households that fail to coordinate income timing, deductions, and account selection give away capital annually. Over decades, this compounds into six-figure opportunity loss. Employer benefits are often misunderstood or underused. Retirement matching, health savings tools, and employee purchase plans are frequently treated as optional. Leaving these unused is equivalent to declining compensation that compounds over time. This decision rarely feels like a mistake because no bill arrives, yet the loss is real. Housing choices also quietly determine wealth trajectories. Purchasing more space than functionally needed ties capital into illiquid structures. High maintenance, taxes, and upgrade cycles drain cash flow that could have been directed toward diversified growth. The issue is not ownership, but scale relative to income resilience. Transportation decisions play a similar role. Long financing terms reduce monthly pressure, but increase total cost and depreciation exposure. Vehicles that exceed functional requirements silently tax future flexibility through maintenance, registration, and replacement cycles. Another decision involves underpricing personal time. Professionals who avoid delegating low-value tasks often trade income potential for perceived savings. Time is the only asset that cannot compound. When high-earning potential hours are consumed by low-impact tasks, lifetime earnings quietly decline. Failing to coordinate household finances creates another layer of erosion. Separate goals, mismatched risk tolerance, and unaligned spending priorities produce friction that leads to inefficient compromises. Wealth growth benefits from unified direction and transparent decision frameworks. Many Americans also hold excessive idle cash due to fear of volatility. While caution is reasonable, long-term overexposure to non-earning balances reduces purchasing power. Inflation quietly transfers value away from static funds, especially during extended holding periods. Another silent decision is reacting emotionally to market narratives. Chasing trends, exiting during stress, or reallocating without clear frameworks introduces behavioral drag. Consistency, not excitement, drives compounding. Education spending can also damage wealth when pursued without outcome analysis. Degrees or certifications that lack market demand increase debt without increasing income. Education should be evaluated like an investment, not a credential. Ignoring estate structure is another long-term error. Without clear directives, assets face delays, legal costs, and tax exposure. Planning early preserves value and reduces stress for dependents. Subscription accumulation is a modern drain. Small monthly charges compound into significant annual leakage. Because each charge appears minor, total impact remains hidden without active review. Another decision involves relying on future income assumptions. Career health, industry stability, and physical capacity change over time. Plans built on uninterrupted income streams expose households to sudden compression. Underestimating healthcare out-of-pocket exposure also strains wealth, even with employer coverage. Planning buffers for medical expenses protects capital during high-stress periods. Failing to document financial systems creates dependence on memory. Missed deadlines, forgotten accounts, and unmanaged beneficiaries lead to value loss over time. The final decision is postponing structure. Waiting for higher income or clarity delays, compounding. Systems outperform intentions. Early structure creates margin even at modest income levels. These decisions rarely feel destructive individually. Together, they quietly determine whether decades of effort translate into lasting financial security or ongoing stress. Long-term wealth in the United States is shaped less by dramatic moves and more by disciplined avoidance of silent erosion. This framework reflects how sustainable financial outcomes are actually built in real households. Avoiding wealth erosion requires replacing reactive behavior with intentional structure. Long-term financial strength in the United States emerges from systems that reduce decision fatigue and prevent quiet leaks. The goal is not perfection, but durability across changing income levels, family stages, and economic conditions. Income strategy sits at the center of durability. Households that treat income as fixed often organize spending around current comfort rather than future flexibility. A stronger approach focuses on expanding income optionality. This includes building skills that remain valuable across industries, understanding revenue drivers within roles, and tracking compensation relative to market benchmarks. Income resilience matters more than income size. Expense design must follow income structure. Fixed obligations should remain survivable under conservative income scenarios. Variable spending should absorb lifestyle enjoyment without locking future commitments. This separation preserves control during transitions and prevents forced trade-offs. Debt requires active governance. Every balance should have a clear purpose, defined payoff horizon, and measurable benefit. Debt that improves earning capacity or operational efficiency differs from debt that only accelerates consumption. Without clarity, debt silently dictates future choices. Liquidity planning deserves ongoing attention. Accessible capital protects long-term assets by absorbing short-term shocks. The objective is response capacity, not excess conservatism. Liquidity should match household risk exposure and income volatility. Tax awareness must operate year-round. Adjusting withholding, optimizing account usage, and timing income events reduce leakage. Tax efficiency compounds quietly, similar to interest savings or investment returns. Employer benefits should be treated as part of compensation design. Understanding vesting schedules, contribution limits, and matching rules transforms benefits into growth tools rather than background features. Housing decisions benefit from scenario testing. Evaluating payments against income stress cases reveals hidden fragility. Right-sized housing supports freedom and reduces long-term drag. Transportation planning works best when framed around function and life cycle cost. Ownership duration, maintenance patterns, and replacement timing matter more than purchase price. Time allocation deserves economic analysis. High-value hours should remain protected. Delegation and automation preserve capacity for income-producing and strategic work. Household alignment strengthens execution. Shared visibility into goals, spending, and trade-offs reduces friction. Unified systems outperform individual optimization. Cash positioning should balance safety and erosion risk. Regular reviews prevent overaccumulation in non-earning accounts. Market participation benefits from rules. Predefined allocation ranges and rebalance triggers limit emotional interference. Education investments require return analysis. Skill relevance, income uplift, and debt impact should guide decisions. Estate structure should evolve with asset growth. Clear documentation preserves value and reduces complexity. Subscription audits prevent invisible drain. Annual reviews restore control. Planning should assume income variability. Buffers replace optimism with resilience. Medical expense buffers protect assets during stress periods. Documentation systems prevent oversight loss. Centralized records improve continuity. Structure should begin early. Waiting delays, compounding, and increases error risk. Long-term wealth does not require extreme behavior. It requires consistent avoidance of quiet mistakes and disciplined reinforcement of durable systems. Financial outcomes reflect structure more than intention. This concludes the framework.